Now that she has whipped you to be ready to start, we're good to go, right? Okay. Want to welcome the press for joining us this morning. We have held a meeting as opposition members of Parliament discussing issues to do with human rights in our country, issues to do with the rule of law, our concerns, and what we think ought to happen going forward. We know that a number of Ugandans have been missing for a while. We've always talked about the 18, including John Bosco Chibalama, whom the Prime Minister said was arrested, the likes of Kanata Muhammad, John Damulira, and others. That list continues to grow by the day. We know of people like Sam Mugumya, who was picked up by security, and up to now, they refused to produce him in court. So he's held in incommunicado detention. The same thing with people like Amos Rangomani, that's a relative to the Honorable Kahinda Otafire, and several others. These we say because we know them, but there's a plethora of other Ugandans who are held in incommunicado detention. They are not produced in court. Many times they are tortured. And it seems to be business as usual. We understand, and these are reports we have gotten over time, that some of these missing persons were actually killed by the regime. And that's why they have failed to account for them. We have also gotten reports in the past that some of them had their eyes gouged out. That's how sadistic these people get to be. When you see them sadistically say these things on social media, they are that way even in practice. Eddie Mutwe and several others, some of who are now in jail, were abducted, tortured, and up to now, they're still held. We have tried to seek bail for them. That has not happened. Dr. Kizza Besigye continues to be persecuted. I've talked about Sam Mugumya, Amos Rangomani, Christopher Godi, also known as King Zare, who was also abducted on the 21st of April. Up to now, he's not been accounted for. Now, on Monday, Council Erias Lukwago joined this list. We saw the military raid his home after he had communicated that court has issued summons to General Muhoozi Kainerugaba to answer to a petition that had been filed in court, because Dr. Kizza Besigye petitioned court and said, even though I have been brought here, I also have got a concern. Muhoozi is threatening to kill me, and he has done that severally. So because Erias Lukwago was talking about these things, we saw the reaction of Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who continues to wreak havoc in a manner so wanton, and is very proud of this, his melodrama. After the 2026 elections, we saw how the regime targeted the leader of the National Unity Platform, the Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, and his family, and the way several other people were targeted. Honorable Muhammad Mwanga Chivumbi, they raided his home, killed people. Now he's being held for terrorism, among other charges. Look, as leaders and as a people, we shall not and we should not keep quiet about these grotesque happenings. I know that Muhoozi Kainerugaba, he tries to instill fear. He has threatened numerous people, he has threatened to kill, he has threatened to abduct, and he normally acts upon these things. But we are saying we're not going to be intimidated by this man. And so we are speaking out as leaders, and we are asking the country to jointly be concerned about these happenings. General Yoweri Museveni declared that, according to him, this is Chisanja, no sleep. He promised to take on leaders who are corrupt, leaders who don't care about the people. But here is a man who is occupying a leadership position as Chief of Defense Forces. Not only does he not care about the people, he also keeps harming the people in a manner so wanton. Why does a General Yoweri Museveni take action against this man Muhoozi? Is it because he's his son? In the first place, we think it was erroneous for him to appoint his son in such a powerful position. But now you've appointed him a leader. He keeps wreaking havoc. He keeps flouting every law in the book. And you keep looking on. And then you are out there pretending this is Chisanja no sleep. We are taking action to see that there is orderliness, there is service delivery. Leaders are caring about the people. That's hypocrisy. And I saw him say that even you, the opposition, you need to be monitoring what government is doing and ensuring the right things are done. This is part of us doing that work, which we have always done. We kept speaking out against corruption, showed evidence, you did nothing. And now you pretend that this is Chisanja no sleep. When are you going to take action against this son of yours, who is behaving like a very spoiled child? We are wondering also, entities like Uganda Human Rights Commission, who are quiet at a time like this when it matters. I know that when Eddie Mutwe was held by Muhoozi, Uganda Human Rights Commission issued a statement saying he should be released, and Muhoozi threatened them also. I don't know whether that's why they are quiet as well. So every government entity clothed with authority has now shrunk because of this man. We have seen the involvement of the military in arrests, overriding courts. Of course, we saw their involvement in the brutal elections as they were. In essence, we seem to be under a military dictatorship, a military rulership. And maybe that's why Muhoozi, an army officer, has got no regard for the law. It needs to be clear, because you cannot say one thing and do another. We need to be clarified that maybe the law does not matter anymore in this country. That maybe courts of law don't matter anymore. When they issue summons, they will be threatened and intimidated. So that there is no pretense, then the people will know this is what is prevailing. We all saw the remarks of the Honorable General Kahinda Otafire, immediate former Minister of Internal Affairs, after he handed over office to Professor Ephraim Kamuntu. He told him, look, I need to remind you to not allow extrajudicial killings by rogue officers in the Directorate of Crime Intelligence, which is headed by Major General Christopher Damulira. In essence, General Kahinda Otafire was conceding that there are extrajudicial killings. And those extrajudicial killings are by the state, are by men and women in uniform. That's what the immediate former Minister of Internal Affairs said. When we speak about these things many times, people say, this is just the opposition smearing dirt on the government, but this is your cabinet minister. He's still in cabinet. And he has been supervising these entities, including the Directorate of Crime Intelligence, headed by Christopher Damulira. What more are we waiting for? Human rights violations are not only affecting opposition leaders and supporters. We have seen the clergy. We saw Father Sekabida from Masaka, Deusdedit, who was abducted. It had been unheard of, but it is happening. We are seeing what's been happening to journalists, and now Muhoozi is also threatening to close down certain media houses. I saw him threaten Daily Monitor and Nation Media Group. Civil society leaders have been targeted. Even NRM politicians have not been spared. Last week we were in Parliament and I raised the matter of Honorable Margaret Etilu, the Amoria woman MP, who was picked up, and for weeks her family was demanding to know her whereabouts. So what's clear is that no one is safe. And so we cannot be pretending about these things. I know that in the past, when they would pick up the Eddie Mutwes, many people would be quiet and say, well, he's not a member of my party. Maybe he even committed some kind of offense. But until it reaches your doorstep, and now, this madman is showing you that he will reach everybody. And I'm saying mad because who does this in their normal sense of state? Muhoozi abducts and tortures people. He has promised to kill Honorable Kyagulanyi and Dr. Kizza Besigye. He said he killed 22 NUP supporters and he wants to kill others. Muhoozi, who the hell do you think you are to break the law in a manner so wanton that for you, you think that the lives of Ugandans are in your hands? I'm going to kill this one. I'm going to abduct this one. And then you follow up on these threats. We are not going to be intimidated and for everyone to shrink when this man is breaking every law in the books. It's not acceptable. And then after he has written all of this garbage that he writes, you see him post and say, me, I'm a descendant of Jesus Christ. As if to insinuate that he's committing all these atrocities in the name of God. This nonsense has got to stop. We saw the LRA, Lord's Resistance Army. They were killing in the name of God. We have seen several other people, groups, individuals who kill in the name of God. And that's what Muhoozi seems to be doing. That he'll commit all these atrocities, break the law in the name of God. No, as a people, we must say this nonsense has got to stop. It is not acceptable. I've seen other similarly powerful people in the past, whether it be in Uganda and elsewhere, who came and went. Some promised to kill people, but they died before them. So when I look at Muhoozi threatening to kill people, what guarantee do you have that you will not die next week, for example? Well before any of these people you're threatening to kill and abduct. Because you're not good. But I don't know what keeps running in his mind. He imagines he has all of a sudden become immortal. I've seen leaders, including members of parliament, who say Muhoozi is their leader, and they sing his praises, even when he breaks the law in a wanton manner. I hope that these leaders, MPs, ministers, and so on, I see them showering him praises. I hope that they can wake up and advise this man to stop breaking the law. Because they are not safe either. And I know some of them are clamoring for some positions here and there, some attention. So he will write his garbage and they will go and they are praising him. Yes, we salute you, our generational leader. We support you. Really? What guarantee do you have that you are safe yourselves? Because as we have told you, even NRM folks are not safe. The generals that Muhoozi commands, some of whom he has said were his friends and so on, they're not safe either. We have seen how he has abducted them, held them without trial for very long periods of time. And then afterwards, he says, I have sat with this person and I have forgiven him. So you who are singing praises of this man, what guarantee do you have that tomorrow he will not be pouncing on you? Because he has done that to everybody around him. He has total disregard for the rule of law. And you're there, our generational leader. Advise him to do the right thing. Because you are not safe either. I hope that these people can wake up to these realities. Hong was apprehended because she broke the law, stole taxpayers' money, and she abused office. Of course, I'm waiting for her day in court. I'm not one of those who got very excited when I saw they were seizing her home and so on. I'm waiting for her to be produced in court. All this evidence we have been adducing is presented and she gets to be charged. I hope that gets to happen. But I also wonder, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. Muhoozi keeps abusing his authority and office, when is he going to be called to order? That's a question that Ugandans out there have. When will he be called to order? Because we are not saying that we cannot be arrested, we in the opposition or anybody, anyway. But what does the law say? The law prescribes how an arrest should be conducted and by who, and where people should be taken. Now we hear that Council Erias Lukwago has been taken to police somewhere. We have learned and we are going to follow up. But he was picked up on Monday. Where has he been held since Monday? Because the law gazettes detention places. He should have been taken to police on Monday, not to some kind of basement, and within 48 hours produced in court. But these things don't happen, and we think it is okay. It cannot be okay. And when I see serious people and leaders cheering him on, and they call themselves patriots, you are not patriotic because you keep violating the law. And you need to tell this man the truth. You know, one time Mr. Museveni said that all the hangers on, all the people around his son, they are after money. He said that. They are self-seekers. They want some little money, some positions here and there. That's the reality. But I think Muhoozi, he keeps thinking this is genuine love. As a people, we have got to be united against this oppression. I know that sometimes we point the daggers at each other. So and so you have not done enough. So and so you have not done enough. We need to place the problem where it lies. We need to demand for accountability from the perpetrators of these ills. Not going after each other, because I've seen some of that petty talk. This person, you have spoken just once. You have not spoken enough. You have not done enough. Can we target the real culprits? Because that's what they want us to do. They want us to come after each other as a people. They are the ones we ought to be targeting on a daily basis. So the culprits are the regime. It is Muhoozi. Those are the people we should be blaming, not blaming each other. Because now if they pick up one of us, then we begin to blame each other. But we know who is holding the person. That's where we should target all our energies. And so we ask the arms of government to take action against these violations, to take action against this plummeting disregard for the rule of law. The executive, I hope you don't think you're safe, you ministers, because you've seen Muhoozi say, this one I have appointed, this one I have appointed. So what happens if he's angry with you? What guarantee do you have he will not pick you from your home? And so you need to be concerned either as well. The legislature, where we belong. I've seen that there are many MPs who belong to PLU. Of course, it's your right, freedom of association. I hope though PLU is a legal entity because it's headed by a serving military officer who by law is not allowed to do politics. And that's why we are telling this coward Muhoozi, put off our uniform, come down to the political arena. Because you're settling political scores using the office that you occupy. That's not right. If you want a political fight, resign from the army. Start a political party. And then let's go down to the grassroots. That's how politics is done. Not you are annoyed with this political figure and so you decide to use the office you occupy as army commander to go after them, abduct them, torture them. That's what cowards do. Not generals. Real generals. They don't behave that way. It's cowards who do that. So stop being a coward. Because you're all over the place, you're looking for attention saying, Ugandans, how many of you love me? How many of you will vote for me as president? You resign. And then come to the political arena where we are. We all go and face the people and convince them. It's very cowardly of you to use the office that you occupy to try and settle political scores. To try and pursue an ambition. You're dying to be loved. How will people love you when you're killing them, when you're torturing them? So when he sees people who have love, he's jealous and envious. That's why I keep saying the thing he says about Honorable Chagulanyi, about Dr. Kiza Besigye. We have an annual Kabaka birthday run. So when he sees the love that the Kabaka has, thousands of people showing up for his run, he also decided to start a birthday run for himself. If you want people to love you, do not force it. Do what's right. Get out of the army, come into the political arena, as should be. Judges are not safe either, the judicial arm. Because if court can issue summons, and then an officer of court, as lawyers, I'm a lawyer, lawyers, we are officers of court. So if an officer of court is being abducted because he has pursued a court remedy to say, court, I have this matter, summon this person, court issues summons, and then the officer of court is abducted, and the judiciary thinks it is safe. No, you are not safe. Because tomorrow you will issue an order that he doesn't like, and then he will come after you. So everybody has got to stand up and be counted. We all have got to say no to this nonsense. It has got to stop. Our Speaker and Deputy Speaker are close to Mr. Muhoozi. In fact, he appointed them his special envoys to Parliament. And they wrote back acknowledging and saluting him, our leader. Yes, we accept the deployment. Of course, it confused me because the Speaker of Parliament is number 3 in the country. Now, how does an army commander deploy a Speaker of Parliament? There is no place for it in the law. If he wants to start a political party, that's okay. Resign from the army, start a political party, recruit whoever you want to recruit. Because in Parliament, we belong to different political parties. But this confused me. And that's why I would like to entreat our leaders here at Parliament. Now that he appointed you his special envoys and advisors, please advise him to do what's right. Our Speaker is a very senior lawyer, and I like that he has started off on resetting Parliament. We appreciated him for that stance, and we said we shall keep monitoring so that we see these reforms happening. This is something that should concern him too. I know that, yes, Muhoozi rallied support for him to become our leader, but he's now our leader. And I told him I didn't vote for him, I voted for our candidate at the time, Honorable Paul Mwiro. But the Speaker is my leader and our leader, and the Deputy Speaker. And they, as Parliament, the legislature, we're the ones who make these laws. We need to be custodians of these laws that we make. So I would like to appeal to our leaders here at Parliament. Please speak to your deployer, because he says he deployed you as special envoys, which has got no place in the law. But I know that you know the law as Speaker and as Deputy Speaker. We should not allow this to continue to happen. Because what happens now, if tomorrow he is angry with you, his special envoy? So that's why all of us have got to fight for the protection of the Constitution and the rule of law. All of us. Because the day of reckoning might come for you as well. And again, I also appeal to our leaders, the Speaker and Deputy Speaker. They pretty much sent the House into recess till 7th July. We are strongly urging them to convene the House. To convene the House so that the legislature gets to redirect affairs of this country to do with constitutionalism, to do with the rule of law. Let's do this. And I'm going to write to the Speaker requesting him to convene the House. When we last had the plenary sitting, I raised these issues, abductions and so on, and the House directed government to come up with a response. And I've seen correspondence by the government chief whip reminding the ministers responsible to get set to respond to these issues. I don't think we should wait for 7th July. It's too far away for these violations to continue happening. It's too far. The country wants to see the legislature directing the country, giving direction, because we're the ones who make the laws. So we need to be able to do that. So our hope is that our leaders here, our presiding officers, will be able to do that for us as Parliament and for the country. I thank you.